Hey there YouTube lovers, my name is BB8 and today we are going to be ranking all of the PlayStation consoles from worst to best. I have wanted to do a ranking of Sony's consoles and handhelds for quite a while, but I still have the Xbox ranking video not uploaded that I recorded months ago. But I am going to get this video out of the way first, but probably upload that another time. And without further ado, let's get into it, shall we? Number 12, the Sony PocketStation. This console didn't really do anything big for PlayStation as a brand. All this thing really did is act as a memory card for your PlayStation 2, and you just plugged it in through the memory card slot and just load mini games onto it. And the mini games weren't really that impressive for a console that released in 1999. And I probably bet this thing would have struggled to compete with the Game Boy Color at the time. Number 11, the PSP Go. The main reason why I'm against the whole digital concept, but the PSP Go, if you were to buy one in 2022, this thing would technically be unplayable unless you got one out from your attic years ago but still had games on it. But if you buy one in 2022 that's just with nothing on it, it's probably going to be impossible to even install games onto this thing because the PSP store closed down a while ago. But another way you could put games onto this thing is probably modding it. And the play position on this thing is really uncomfortable. Like, holding this in your hands, it's probably the most uncomfortable example of a PlayStation console. And if you were to buy a PSP in 2022, just do not buy the PSP Go. And the PSP Go is an example on why physical media should always be an option. Number 10, the PlayStation Classic. At least this thing, you can actually play games on it. But the library on this thing is quite limited. You've got games like Rayman, the original Grand Theft Auto, Final Fantasy VII, and Persona. But there's a lot more as well. And I am still a bit bugged off that this library does not include Crash Bandicoot or Spyro, because I do think them two were actually key characters in the first PlayStation era. But yet again, you can mod the PlayStation Classic to include more games on it, which is probably going to take a lot of work and modding to do it. Number 9, the PlayStation TV. Like, why does this thing even exist? Probably as an accessory for the PS Vita. But the PS TV, if you grew up in the mid 2010s, that I bet for people who asked for a PS4 for Christmas in the mid 2010s but ended up getting this instead, I feel bad for them. But But yet again, this thing, you can play Vita games on the TV. But not all Vita games were actually compatible with the PlayStation TV, which was a breaking point for this console. But yet again, I still don't know why on earth this thing even existed. And I just feel bad for the ones who ended up getting this instead of a PS4. But you can connect a DualShock 4 to this thing. Number 8, the PlayStation Vita. Like, I don't really hate this console at all. Like, I think I did own this. I think starting like Christmas 2014, and I stopped using it when I got the Switch, but this console was actually quite fun to use. It's just the library kind of lacked a bit. It was mainly fun of anime games and games usually nobody would buy. But at the time I owned this thing, most of the library I wouldn't have understood. And it was a bummer that I missed out on the Uncharted game for this console, because I wasn't old enough to play it at the time. This thing was a fun console. The library just lacked a bit. Number 7, the PSP. Like, the PSP is kind of superior to the PS Vita, because this console, although the DS sold more units than the PSP, I do think the PSP can do more than the DS. Like, you can watch movies on this thing. And for some reason, it's the only handheld that I know of that has a disk drive in it. Like, I was only born the year this thing came out. Same with the DS. But although the handheld market might have been rough for Sony, this thing did end up selling an impressive 80 to 82 million units. Which isn't really that bad compared to how the Vita sold. But it's half of what the DS sold. Number 6, the PSVR. Probably the best VR headset in the market, in my opinion, because you can connect this VR headset to your PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5, and you can literally just play VR games on it. And as well, other people can actually watch you play VR by outputting it to the TV. And the fact that this is probably the best headset because it has a better screen compared to an Oculus, with the PSVR being OLED and the Oculus being LCD. At least the PSVR makes you less sick if you play it for long periods of time. And I am excited for the PSVR 2. And hopefully that provides an improved experience compared to the PlayStation VR. Number 5, the original PlayStation. Probably the first console of all time to even have a disc drive. I do think this console probably made history in gaming. Even though Sony did end up losing their mascots Crash and Spyro to Microsoft when they bought Activision Blizzard. The first PlayStation is still a monument in gaming, and one that should always be looked back on when you have the chance to. Number 4, the PS3. Halfway through the 2000s might have been complicated for gaming, because the PS3 tried to go with a futuristic look, and it was more expensive than its competitor, the Xbox 360, but this console was technically the go-to for RPGs at the time it released. So if you wanted to play Persona 4, I'd probably bet this would have been the console. And this was the first PlayStation console to have online gaming. Number 3, the PS5. Even though my opinion hasn't finalized on the PS5, because we're not even halfway through the console's lifespan, but the PS5, of course, is a fast console to own. And this does allow you to play PS4 games on it. And of course, may have some returning features from the PS4, as well as the touchpad from the DualShock 4 controller, even though the controller has a different design compared to last time. But yet again, the PS5 is still a great console, even though we're not hardly 2 years into the console's lifespan. Number 2, the PlayStation 2. I know this might sound like a controversial opinion putting it at number 2, but I do get it. The PS2 is one of the most important consoles in pretty much all of gaming, with the 155 million units sold. And did have games such as GTA San Andreas, Ratchet & Clank, and the 4th Gran Turismo. But certain franchises, such as the God of War franchise, weren't introduced until like the end of the PS2's life cycle. We didn't even have Uncharted at the time that the PS2 came out. I think we've only had like Ratchet & Clank, Gran Turismo, and of course Crash and Spyro, but they ended up losing their exclusivity like a while ago. Number 1, the PlayStation 4. I know a lot of people are gonna hate me for putting the PlayStation 4 over the PlayStation 2, but the PlayStation 4 is capable of a lot of things. Like, we have the PSVR, we have PlayLink, if you remember that, like connecting your phone to your PS4 to play party games. Yeah, I bet a lot of you don't even remember that. Although the library might have been lacking at the beginning, starting off with games such as Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. But I think around 2017, 2018 is when the library started to spice up. Of course, with Horizon, God of War, and Spider-Man. So guys, what did you think of my PlayStation ranking video? Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like this video, and turn your notification bell on so you don't miss another video like this one in the future. And if you have any requests for ranking videos, just let me know down below. And I'll see you all in a future video. BB8 out.